Santa's stringy surprise. I swear, if I hadn't seen it with my 2 eyes, I would have thought it was all a bad dream. But no, I was there. It happened to me. Let me start from the part where my heart nearly jumped out of my chest. The man was hanging from a streetlight, dangling like a piece of suya meat on a thin, worn-out rope. His beard was patchy yellowish and looked like someone had dipped it in palm oil. His eyes glowed, not the kind of glow that made you feel safe. This was the kind that made you want to check if your legs could still run. And then he spoke, his voice dry and scratchy like a radio struggling for network. Olga Samson, he said, calling my name. I didn't know how he knew it. You're the one who has refused to give your younger sister that money for school fees, ABI. I froze. How could he know? My sister had been nagging me for weeks, but things were tight. Besides, what kind of Santa Claus knew personal gist like that? It was one of those December nights in Lagos, where the air was thick with dust and the smell of fried akara. I had just finished work and was trekking back home, cursing my landlord under my breath, because I knew he'd be waiting for his rent. My mind was so heavy, I nearly missed him at first. The man stood at the junction, a scruffy red suit hanging off his bony frame. His Santa hat was too small for his head, tilted awkwardly like it wanted to fall off, but was too lazy to complete the action. His bag looked suspiciously light, like he had maybe 2 gifts in it. If that, I would have kept walking, but he whistled. Yes, whistled at me. Samson, he called, his voice sharp like an agbro calling passengers. Stop there. Now, I'm not someone who answers strangers calling my name on the road. Lagos is wild. And I'm not ready to be the subject of any Nollywood mystery. But something about his voice made my legs betray me. Before I knew it, I had stopped. Oya, come here, he said, waving his hand. Who are you, I begged. I asked, trying to sound bold, even though my heart was doing backflips. He chuckled, a dry sound like gari being poured into water. I'm Santa, the real Santa. I laughed nervously. I begged, carry your madness, go front. This is Lagos, not the North Pole. But he stepped closer, and I noticed a long string in his hand. It looked like it had been used to tie firewood, rough and frayed at the edges. He saw me staring. Ah, you're looking at my string, he said, smiling. This is my tool, my own Christmas gift. Gift ko? I muttered. Before I could process it, He swung the string. I ducked instinctively, but it wasn't coming for me. It flew up straight to the streetlight and hooked. That was when he climbed. Yes, climbed. The thin air like the rope was an escalator. My mouth was hanging open by the time he perched on the lamp like a bat. You don't believe in Christmas, ABI, he called down, his teeth glinting in the light. You think you can be stingy and get away with it. I wanted to run, but my legs refused to move. Samson, you don't share. Even when you have small extra, you hold it like your life depends on it. But don't worry, he said, rummaging in his bag. I'm here to help you. He pulled out a gift, a small package wrapped in what looked like old newspaper. He dropped it, and somehow it landed softly in my hands. Open it, he urged, his voice echoing. I opened the package with shaky hands. Inside was a brown envelope, and when I looked, it was full of money. Clean notes, no smell of juju, no funny marks. My first instinct was joy. Then I became suspicious. What is this for? I asked, looking up. He grinned. It's for your sister's school fees. But use it wisely. Oh, if you try to chop this money for your own pocket, He left the thread hanging, literally, as he swung off the rope like a Tarzan impersonator and vanished into the night. I don't know how I made it home that night. I was sweating like someone who had been chased by a masquerade. But I paid my sister's fees the next day, sharp. Call me a coward, but I didn't want to see that Stringy Santa again. Till today, I don't know what he really was, spirit, human, or just a crazy old man. But every December, when I hear Christmas songs and see people shopping, I make sure to share something. I don't want to give Santa any reason to dangle his rope over my head again.